Picture this. You sit down at 9 with coffee and a laptop. One email becomes 20. Then come video calls, lunch at your desk, and one last task. At 6, you finally stand, and your legs feel switched off. You may still exercise tonight, but could a daily pattern like that be connected to what happens inside the tiny power plants in your muscle cells? A new muscle biopsy study produced dramatic numbers. In inactive men, several readings were lower from the fuel gates to the oxygen-using machinery, but the researchers never measured how long anyone sat. At Beyond Limit Health, we match the message to the evidence. Let's separate the study from the social media story. First, sedentary and inactive are different. Sedentary behavior is low-energy waking time spent sitting or reclining. Inactivity means not meeting exercise guidelines. You can exercise and still sit for most of the day. The study compared 19 apparently healthy men. 9 reported no regular exercise. 10 reported at least 150 weekly minutes of aerobic exercise for 6 months or longer. This one-time comparison could find group differences but not prove their cause. Imagine each muscle cell as a city filled with power plants called mitochondria. Fuel enters through gates. Complex 1 and Complex 2 then feed electrons into the energy production line. Several checkpoints moved in the same direction. Complex 1 supported respiration was 36% lower in the inactive group. Complex 2 supported respiration was 28% lower, not 30 to 36% as some summaries claimed. Maximum electron moving capacity was 34% lower, and oxygen flow linked with energy production was 30% lower. These tests measured oxygen flow per milligram of muscle, not ATP output. Saying the men made 30% less energy would go beyond the data. The fuel gates also differed. MPC1, which helps move a key fuel, called pyruvate into mitochondria, was 49% less abundant. CPT1, which helps control fat entry, had 51% lower enzyme activity, not protein amount. These may be bottlenecks, but they are not proven causes. Cardiolipin, a special fat that organizes the inner mitochondrial membrane, was lower too. The paper gave no percentage. Now for ROS, often called cellular sparks. Absolute ROS was not simply higher in inactive muscle. It actually tended to be higher in the active group, which used more oxygen. After adjusting for oxygen use, inactive muscle released more ROS per unit of oxygen. The difference was statistically significant only during a laboratory stress test that blocked part of the electron transport chain. So the accurate picture is more sparks per unit of oxygen under that test, not more smoke everywhere all the time. Another limitation, measurements were adjusted for muscle weight, not mitochondrial amount. A city with fewer power plants produces less electricity even if every plant works normally. The study could not separate fewer engines from weaker engines. The inactive group also had a higher average body mass index. All participants were male, and aging was not measured. This small study does not prove that sitting damaged mitochondria or accelerated aging. Honesty check. How many hours do you sit on a normal workday? 6, 8, 10 or more? Put your best estimate in the comments. What does wider research say about an ordinary desk day? Evidence is stronger for short-term blood sugar changes than for mitochondrial rebuilding. In one 5-hour experiment with 19 adults with overweight or obesity, 2 minutes of walking after every 20 minutes of sitting reduced after meal glucose exposure by roughly 24 to 30% and insulin exposure by about 23%. That supports breaking up long sitting periods. It does not prove that every 2-minute walk rebuilds your cellular power plants. Another 4-day experiment found that one continuous 45-minute walk improved one measure of fat-supported mitochondrial function. 5-minute walks each hour changed some gene activity in a very small subgroup, but did not improve the mitochondrial function the researchers measured. At the extreme end, one uncontrolled study cut daily steps in 11 young men from about 13,000 to about 1/200 for 1 week. One enzyme commonly used as a clue to mitochondrial amount fell around 6%, but electron transport proteins did not broadly collapse. Immobilization and bed rest studies show clearer reductions, often suggesting fewer mitochondria rather than damage to each one. This is a dose ladder. A desk-heavy afternoon, a week of extreme step reduction, and 60 days in bed are not the same biological event. If you value careful distinctions, please like the video, subscribe to Beyond Limit Health, and share it with the friend who works out, then sits for 10 hours. What about Zone 2? Aerobic exercise helps mitochondria adapt. Zone 2 is useful because a steady conversational pace is sustainable and relatively low fatigue, but evidence does not show that it is uniquely superior. A large 2025 review covering nearly 6,000 people found broadly similar increases in mitochondrial content after continuous endurance exercise, high-intensity training, and sprint intervals. Harder sessions may be more time efficient. Even Zone 2 differs across laboratories and wearables. Speaking in sentences during a steady effort is a useful rough guide, not a precise measurement. Consistency matters more than a perfect heart rate number. So what should you actually do? First, break up long sitting periods. Try 2 or 3 minutes of movement every 20 to 30 minutes, especially after meals. Treat that timing as an experiment, not a law. Second, build aerobic exercise you can repeat. If exercise is safe for you, start with 10 or 20 minutes and increase duration before intensity. Work toward 150 to 300 weekly minutes of moderate activity, or 75 to 150 vigorous minutes. Add strength work on at least 2 days per week. What helps you move more? Walking during calls, using a timer, taking the stairs, or walking the dog. Share your best trick below. Someone may borrow it tomorrow. Before we finish, here are the 3 things to remember. 1. This study found a coordinated mitochondrial downshift in inactive men, but it did not measure sitting or prove cause and effect. 2. Short movement breaks can improve immediate glucose and insulin responses, but they are not instant mitochondrial repair. 3. Zone 2 is a useful tool, not magic. The best training plan is one you can perform safely and consistently. Your chair is not a mitochondrial toxin, and one workout does not automatically erase 10 motionless hours. Mitochondria adapt. Give your muscles regular reasons to use energy, and your body has a reason to maintain the system. Move more, sit less, build fitness, repeat. This content is for informational purposes only. It is not medical advice, diagnosis, or an individualized exercise prescription. Please consult a qualified healthcare professional for guidance appropriate to you.